1. Best meal to unclog your arteries, backed by science. As a cardiac surgeon with 2 decades of experience, I have witnessed firsthand the devastating effects of diseased arteries. I've held calcified vessels in my hands and seen arteries transformed into concrete pipes due to plaque buildup. It's time to debunk the misinformation circulating online, from claims that lemon water or apple cider vinegar can dissolve plaque to assertions that garlic supplements melt cholesterol. These notions are fundamentally flawed because arteries are not household plumbing, and plaque is not mere grease. You cannot simply flush out plaque with acidic concoctions. My understanding of this disease comes from direct observation during bypass surgeries, where I've seen the intricate biological processes at play. Plaque is not just stuck cholesterol, it's an inflammatory immune response. It's your white blood cells attacking oxidized cholesterol trapped within the artery walls, essentially an autoimmune conflict occurring within your very vessels. To truly reverse this condition, a deep understanding of its formation mechanism is essential. Once you grasp what plaque is, how it forms, and why it grows, you'll recognize that the meal I'm about to reveal is not some trendy health fad, but a precise, targeted intervention. Each ingredient in this meal is chosen for its ability to activate specific biological pathways and trigger precise cellular responses. This meal doesn't merely clean arteries, it actively promotes reverse cholesterol transport, compels immune cells to expel accumulated cholesterol, prevents calcification that hardens arteries, and inhibits LDL oxidation in the first place. This is rooted in cellular biology and immunology, the science of how to genuinely reverse plaque, not through unproven cleanses or detoxes. By the end of this discussion, you will comprehend the processes occurring within your arteries, understand why conventional advice often fails, why low-fat diets can exacerbate the problem, and why statins alone are insufficient. Crucially, you will learn about the exact meal, its components, and the specific compounds that stimulate your body's natural mechanisms to remove cholesterol from your artery walls, effectively reversing the disease. This is not speculative, it's based on peer-reviewed scientific evidence and has demonstrable results. To effectively combat atherosclerosis, it's paramount to first understand the nature of plaque itself. Arteries are composed of 3 distinct layers. The innermost layer, the intima, is a single layer of endothelial cells forming a critical barrier between your bloodstream and the deeper arterial tissues. Healthy endothelial cells are smooth, slick, and produce nitric oxide, a gas that keeps blood vessels dilated and prevents blood cells from adhering. However, damage to these cells, often caused by high blood pressure, smoking, diabetes, or chronic inflammation, leads to dysfunction. They cease producing nitric oxide, become sticky, and develop small gaps. It is through these compromised junctions that LDL cholesterol particles penetrate the artery wall, marking the initial stage of plaque development. Once LDL cholesterol enters the intima, it would pose no significant threat if it remained static. The problem arises when this LDL undergoes oxidation, a process akin to rusting. Within the artery wall, LDL particles are exposed to free radicals, causing the fats within them to become rancid and the proteins to degrade. This oxidized LDL is then recognized by your immune system as a foreign entity, triggering an inflammatory response. Your body dispatches white blood cells, specifically monocytes, which migrate into the artery wall, traverse the endothelium, and transform into macrophages. These macrophages are the scavenger cells of your immune system, designed to engulf and eliminate foreign invaders. They identify the oxidized LDL, perceive it as dangerous, and ingest it through phagocytosis. The macrophage's membrane envelops the LDL particle, drawing it inside where it's broken down within a cellular compartment called a lysosome, and the cholesterol is extracted. The challenge emerges when macrophages become overwhelmed by the sheer volume of cholesterol they are tasked with processing. They become engorged with lipids, swell, and transform into what are known as foam cells, immune cells visibly distended with fat. These foam cells are the foundational building blocks of plaque, representing the earliest visible manifestation of atherosclerosis. Autopsies on young individuals have revealed fatty streaks, essentially clusters of foam cells, in their arteries, indicating that the disease process can begin at a remarkably early age. The tragic irony is that these foam cells, in their attempt to clear the oxidized LDL, become trapped within the vessel wall. They are unable to excrete the cholesterol they've absorbed and therefore accumulate, becoming dysfunctional and eventually dying. Upon rupture, these deceased foam cells release their contents, including cholesterol crystals and inflammatory mediators, into the artery wall. This cellular debris further fuels inflammation, attracting more immune cells and macrophages, perpetuating the cycle of foam cell formation and subsequent plaque growth. Over years, even decades, this relentless process leads to the expansion of plaque, encroaching upon the artery's lumen, the channel through which blood flows. This narrowing can manifest as symptoms such as chest pain, shortness of breath, or leg cramps during physical activity. However, the most immediate danger associated with plaque is not its gradual narrowing effect, but its potential for sudden rupture. Plaque is not a static, solid mass. It's a dynamic, inflamed lesion with a fragile cap covering a core of dead foam cells and cellular debris. When this cap ruptures, its contents spill into the bloodstream, exposing a potent clotting factor called tissue factor. This immediately initiates clot formation, which can occlude the artery and abruptly halt blood flow. If this event occurs in the heart, it results in a heart attack. If in the brain, a stroke, and if in the leg, it can lead to gangrene. The lethality of plaque lies in this sudden rupture and subsequent clot formation, rather than a slow, progressive blockage. Disturbingly, the plaques most prone to rupture are not always the largest. A lesion that is only 40 to 50% occlusive, potentially asymptomatic, can rupture and prove fatal because the critical factor is not size but composition, the degree of inflammation, the number of dying foam cells, and the thinness of the fibrous cap. This understanding underscores why conventional approaches to managing atherosclerosis are often insufficient. Cardiologists typically focus on the degree of arterial narrowing, employing stress tests and angiograms to quantify blockages. If an artery is more than 70% occluded, stenting may be performed to mechanically open the vessel. While this procedure can alleviate symptoms by improving blood flow, it does not address the underlying disease process. The plaque remains present, inflamed and unstable, still posing a risk of rupture. Stenting merely masks the problem, preventing symptomatic episodes without reversing the disease. Furthermore, the plaques that are not intervened upon, those with lesser degrees of narrowing, can still be the ones that rupture and cause life-threatening events, precisely because they are not being actively treated or reversed. This situation necessitates a paradigm shift in our approach. Instead of solely aiming to widen arteries, our focus must be on stabilizing and, ideally, reversing plaque. This involves mobilizing the cholesterol sequestered within foam cells and the artery wall, returning it to the bloodstream for transport to the liver and subsequent excretion. This critical process is known as reverse cholesterol transport, and it represents the sole scientifically validated method for plaque reversal. Your body possesses an intrinsic mechanism for this, involving high-density lipoprotein, HDL, often referred to as good cholesterol. HDL's beneficial role stems not from its composition, but from its function as a transport vehicle, tasked with collecting cholesterol from peripheral tissues and delivering it to the liver. When HDL encounters a foam cell, it binds to the cell's surface and activates a protein called ABCA1, ATP binding cassette transporter A1. This protein acts as an efflux pump, expelling cholesterol from the foam cell and loading it onto the HDL particle. The HDL then carries this cholesterol back to the liver, where it is processed and eliminated from the body via bile. As cholesterol is removed, the foam cells shrink and the plaque begins to regress. This is the essence of reverse cholesterol transport. The fundamental issue is that in many individuals, this process is impaired. Their ABCA1 transporter is not sufficiently activated. Their HDL particles are dysfunctional, and their foam cells are incapable of ejecting cholesterol. Consequently, plaque continues to accumulate, leading to potential rupture or the need for invasive surgical interventions like bypass surgery. Fortunately, this does not have to be the outcome. ABCA1 can be activated, HDL function can be restored, and reverse cholesterol transport can be initiated and enhanced through dietary interventions. Specific foods, rich in particular compounds, consumed in a precise combination, can trigger these vital biological pathways. The meal I'm about to detail is not a collection of random healthy foods. It is a precisely formulated therapeutic protocol. Each ingredient is selected for its unique role in activating specific physiological mechanisms. Deviating from this formula, substituting ingredients, or omitting components will compromise its effectiveness. This approach demands commitment. The first essential component of this meal is a potent source of dietary nitrates, and the ideal choices are arugula or beets, or ideally both. The endothelium, the inner lining of our arteries, is responsible for producing nitric oxide, NO, a molecule of paramount importance for cardiovascular health. Nitric oxide dilates blood vessels, prevents the adhesion of blood cells, inhibits the proliferation of smooth muscle cells, and plays a crucial role in preventing plaque formation. In conditions of atherosclerosis, nitric oxide production is significantly impaired due to endothelial dysfunction. When the endothelium cannot generate sufficient NO, blood vessels constrict, blood flow diminishes, and plaque progression is accelerated. Fortunately, nitric oxide levels can be restored through a remarkable pathway known as the enterosalivary nitrate-nitrite nitric oxide pathway. This pathway, one of the most significant discoveries in cardiovascular physiology in recent decades, operates as follows. Upon consumption of nitrate-rich foods like leafy greens, arugula, spinach, and beets, the nitrates are absorbed in the small intestine and enter the bloodstream. Your salivary glands then concentrate these nitrates, secreting approximately 25% of the nitrates present in your blood back into your saliva. When you swallow your saliva, it re-enters your mouth, where it encounters a rich population of bacteria residing on your tongue and gums. These specific oral bacteria possess an enzyme called nitrate reductase, which converts dietary nitrate into nitrite. Upon swallowing the nitrite, it travels to the stomach, where stomach acid converts some of it directly into nitric oxide. The remaining nitrite is absorbed and circulates in the bloodstream. Within the blood vessels, endothelial cells then convert this nitrite into nitric oxide. This nitric oxide production leads to vasodilation, increased blood flow, and restoration of endothelial function. This mechanism is not theoretical. It has been substantiated by human studies. For instance, research involving beetroot juice, a rich source of nitrates, demonstrated significant improvements in endothelial function within hours, including reduced blood pressure, decreased arterial stiffness, and enhanced blood flow. However, the critical caveat is the dependency on the presence of these specific oral bacteria. Antiseptic mouthwashes, such as those containing chlorhexidine or Listerine, are designed to kill bacteria, and in doing so, they indiscriminately eliminate these beneficial oral microbes. Consequently, the enterosalivary pathway is disrupted, rendering your body incapable of producing nitric oxide from dietary nitrates. Scientific studies have confirmed this detrimental effect. Research where participants used mouthwash twice daily for a week and then consumed beetroot juice showed a complete absence of nitric oxide production, leading to increased blood pressure and worsened endothelial function. Therefore, to harness the benefits of this pathway, it is imperative to discontinue the use of mouthwash and rely solely on regular toothbrushing and flossing. The optimal daily intake of nitrates for cardiovascular benefits is between 300 and 500 milliliters, which can be achieved with approximately 2 cups of arugula or 1 large beet. Arugula is often preferred due to its versatility in meals, serving as an excellent base for a large salad. Consuming it raw is crucial, as cooking can degrade some of the nitrate content. By incorporating raw arugula into your diet, you initiate the process. Salivary glands concentrate nitrates, oral bacteria convert them to nitrite, and your body subsequently produces nitric oxide, leading to vasodilation, improved blood flow to the heart, and enhanced endothelial function. The effects are often noticeable within hours, manifesting as warmer extremities, a slight drop in blood pressure, and improved exercise tolerance. This initial step effectively opens the road for better cardiovascular health. However, opening the pathways is only part of the solution. We must also address the removal of accumulated cholesterol and prevent further arterial damage. This is where the second crucial component comes into play: high phenolic extra virgin olive oil. It's not just any olive oil. The presence of phenolic compounds, particularly oleocanthal, is paramount. Oleocanthal is responsible for the peppery or pungent sensation in the back of the throat when consuming high-quality olive oil, and it possesses remarkable cardiovascular benefits. Firstly, oleocanthal acts as a potent anti-inflammatory agent. It inhibits KIOX enzymes, similar to how ibuprofen works, thereby reducing inflammation within the artery walls, calming the immune response, and stabilizing existing plaque. Secondly, and critically, oleocanthal upregulates the expression of ABCA1, the gene responsible for producing the cholesterol transporter. This leads to an increased number of ABCA1 transporters on the surface of foam cells, facilitating greater cholesterol efflux and promoting reverse cholesterol transport, ultimately leading to plaque regression. This mechanism has been validated in laboratory studies where foam cells treated with oleocanthal exhibited significantly increased ABCA1 expression and enhanced cholesterol removal. Furthermore, the PREDIME trial, a large-scale study in Spain involving over 7,000 participants at high cardiovascular risk, provided compelling human evidence. Participants were assigned to either a low-fat diet, a Mediterranean diet supplemented with nuts, or a Mediterranean diet supplemented with extra virgin olive oil, 50 milliliters daily. Over 5 years, the group consuming olive oil experienced a remarkable 30% reduction in major cardiovascular events compared to the low-fat group. Crucially, the olive oil used in this study was specifically high in phenolic compounds, characteristic of fresh, cold-pressed, unfiltered Spanish olive oil. Lower quality, refined, or aged olive oils may lack these beneficial phenolics, providing fat without the crucial ABCA1 activating properties. Therefore, when selecting olive oil, it's essential to seek out extra virgin, cold-pressed varieties, ideally with a harvest date visible on the bottle. A simple taste test can also be indicative. High phenolic olive oil will have a distinct peppery or pungent burn in the throat. The greater the pungency, the higher the oleocanthal content. The PREDIME study utilized 50 ml of olive oil daily, approximately 4 tablespoons. For many, consuming this amount of oil straight can be challenging. Thus, it's best incorporated into meals, such as generously dressing an arugula salad, using 3 to 4 tablespoons. This liberal application is not about calorie saving, but about maximizing ABCA1 activation, with the nitrates from arugula to promote nitric oxide production and oleocanthal from olive oil to activate reverse cholesterol transport. We have addressed 2 vital mechanisms. However, the battle against arterial disease requires tackling a third critical factor: calcification. As plaque matures and foam cells die, calcium deposits form, acting as a form of scar tissue that hardens the arteries. This process, measured by a coronary calcium score, quantifies the extent of calcification. A score of 0 indicates no plaque, while scores above 400 signify severe disease, and a score exceeding 1,000 suggests critically hardened arteries. This calcification renders arteries rigid, impairs their ability to dilate, increases the risk of plaque rupture, and significantly elevates the likelihood of heart attack and stroke. To combat this, we need to inhibit and ideally reverse calcification. This is achieved through vitamin K2, specifically the menaquinone 7 (MK7) form, which plays a vital role in calcium metabolism. Unlike vitamin K1, which is involved in blood clotting, K2 activates proteins that direct calcium to its appropriate destination, bones, rather than allowing it to deposit in arteries. The primary protein K2 activates is matrix GLA protein, MGP, produced by smooth muscle cells in the artery walls. MGP inhibits calcification by binding to calcium crystals and preventing their aggregation. However, MGP remains inactive without sufficient vitamin K2. Consequently, a deficiency in K2 leads to inactive MGP, uncontrolled calcification, and progressively hardened arteries. Unfortunately, most individuals are deficient in K2 because it is found in limited food sources, primarily fermented foods like natto, a Japanese dish of fermented soybeans known for its pungent aroma and slimy texture. Natto is the richest source of MK7, a highly bioavailable form of K2. Studies in Japan have linked regular natto consumption to reduced cardiovascular disease rates and lower calcium scores. Supplementation with MK7 has also shown promise in stabilizing or even reducing calcium scores. While natto might be an acquired taste, aged cheeses like Gouda and Edam offer moderate amounts of K2. For those unable or unwilling to consume these foods, MK7 supplements are readily available and have been shown to be safe and effective at doses of 180–360 micrograms per day. The third component of our meal, therefore, is either 50 grams of natto, 3 ounces of aged Gouda cheese, or a 180 microgram MK7 supplement taken with the meal. This provides the necessary K2 to activate MGP, halt arterial calcification, and initiate reversal, leading to more flexible arteries and a stabilized or decreasing calcium score. Beyond calcification, preventing LDL oxidation is crucial. Plaque formation begins when LDL cholesterol penetrates the artery wall and oxidizes. By preventing this oxidation, we can halt the entire cascade of events leading to plaque. Antioxidants, particularly those that bind to LDL particles and shield them from free radical damage, are key. Punicins, a group of polyphenols found in pomegranates, particularly in the seeds and the membrane surrounding them, are exceptionally effective. Punicins bind directly to LDL particles, forming a protective coat that prevents oxidation. This renders the LDL unrecognizable to the immune system, preventing macrophages from engulfing it, thereby halting foam cell formation and plaque growth. Human studies have demonstrated this effect. Daily consumption of pomegranate juice for a year led to a reduction in carotid intima media thickness, a measure of plaque burden, with the underlying mechanism being a significant decrease in LDL oxidation due to the presence of punicins. Pomegranates also enhance the activity of peroxonase, an enzyme found on HDL particles that breaks down oxidized lipids and protects the vessel wall. This increases the protective function of HDL, further enhancing reverse cholesterol transport. Therefore, pomegranate arils are the fourth essential component of this meal. Opting for whole fruit over juice is important, as pomegranate juice can be high in sugar. 1 cup of pomegranate arils per day provides a therapeutic dose of punicins, adding flavor, texture, and crucial antioxidant protection to the meal. Bringing these components together, we have a comprehensive meal designed for arterial remodeling. Begin with a generous base of 2 to 3 cups of fresh arugula, providing 300–500 ml of nitrates for nitric oxide production. Add 1 cup of fresh pomegranate arils to deliver punicins, which will coat LDL and prevent oxidation. Drizzle generously with 3 to 4 tablespoons of high phenolic extra virgin olive oil to provide oleocanthal, activating ABCA1 for cholesterol removal. For the K2 component, include 50 grams of natto on the side if tolerated, or top the salad with 3 ounces of aged Gouda cheese, or take a 180 microgram MK7 supplement with the meal. This meal is composed of simple, whole foods, chosen for their specific bioactive compounds that activate the body's natural repair mechanisms, addressing potential objections. The concern about high-fat content from olive oil is unfounded. The prevailing low-fat dogma has contributed to the obesity and diabetes epidemics and has failed to curb heart disease. Fat is not the enemy. Oxidized LDL, inflammation, and dysfunctional HDL are. Low-fat diets often reduce HDL levels, impairing reverse cholesterol transport and increasing triglycerides as the liver converts excess carbohydrates into fat. They can also promote the formation of small, dense LDL particles, which are more atherogenic. Conversely, healthy fats like those in olive oil improve lipid profiles, raise HDL, and activate ABCA1. The Mediterranean diet, high in healthy fats, demonstrably reduces cardiovascular disease rates. The commitment to consuming this meal daily is essential. It's not a casual intervention, but a daily medicine with profound effects. While the cost of quality ingredients might seem significant, it pales in comparison to the expenses associated with heart attacks, bypass surgeries, and long-term disability. The preparation is simple, taking only about 10 minutes, making it a non-negotiable priority for health. The effectiveness of whole foods over isolated antioxidant supplements is well established. While supplement trials have yielded disappointing results, food-based interventions, with their synergistic combination of thousands of compounds, are highly effective. Pomegranates, for example, are far more than just a source of vitamin C. They are a complex pharmacy of beneficial phytonutrients. Regarding statins, they are valuable for lowering LDL cholesterol and can stabilize plaque, but they do not reverse it by activating ABCA1 or initiating reverse cholesterol transport. A combined approach of statin therapy and this dietary protocol offers the best chance of reversing arterial disease. My motivation for sharing this detailed information is rooted in a deep concern for patient well-being. I am weary of performing surgeries on individuals who could have prevented their condition through knowledge. The current medical system, with its limited nutrition education and focus on pharmaceutical interventions, often fails to equip patients with the tools to reverse cardiovascular disease. This channel is dedicated to providing accurate, science-backed information to empower individuals to take control of their health. To ensure this vital message reaches more people, I urge you to subscribe, leave comments sharing your experiences, and share this video widely. For those seeking a more comprehensive approach, my ebook, The Arterial Remodeling Protocol, offers an in-depth guide covering the science of plaque formation, a full day's meal plan, supplement recommendations, exercise protocols, and monitoring strategies. This resource, available via the link in the description, distills years of surgical experience and research into a practical guide for reversing atherosclerosis. To further enhance your understanding, I recommend watching the video titled "The One Supplement That Dissolves Arterial Plaque," backed by 127 studies, which can be accessed via the link on your screen. This video highlights a powerful yet often overlooked intervention that can accelerate plaque regression. Subscribe to this channel to stay informed with evidence-based health strategies that prioritize true healing over symptom management. Prioritize your arterial health by consistently consuming this meal, monitoring your progress, and understanding that reversing plaque is an achievable goal, one meal, one mechanism, and one day at a time.